They also seize evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seize cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
1,000 bottles of baby oil
recovered during the searches.
So I guess it's finally happened. No more confusion. Diddy has been indicted. I mean, arrested in Manhattan late night Monday. I got the indictment, the court memo. I'm trying to see this whole thing about the baby oil because I don't know if that's true, but they talk about they found 1,000 things of baby oil. I don't believe it, but we're gonna look into it ourselves.
They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting.
What do you mean baby oil?
Hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers. The indictment also alleges that they helped Combs cover up his crimes. During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier, a member of the hotel security staff intervened, and Combs attempted to bribe the staff member with a stack of cash to make sure that what happened was kept quiet. And as the indictment alleges, in late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs' crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced.
So he's a mass manipulator from what I'm standing. He over there calling the whole, everybody just gaslighting everybody like, yo, you did not see me actually do that. He just gaslighting the whole industry for 2 decades. That's crazy.
And as alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse by monitoring and preventing victims from leaving a location in order to hide their injuries, or by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee. As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine.
See, it could be worse. When they talk about the guns, it really could have been a lot worse. Like, there's people who've been caught with way more guns, so I don't know why they keep emphasizing that as if they were used for something, but we'll find out. But I feel like 3 assault rifles, when people are getting caught with 20, 30, 40, 50 guns, Enrico's is kind of, you know.
They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
1,000 bottles of baby oil
recovered during the searches. As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity.
1,000 bottles of baby oil? Oh. Y'all gotta be ever so for real. Y'all telling me during the freak-offs, he was pre-stocking hotels with baby oil so 2 man can slide upon another man's body. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That has to be a fucking joke. That cannot be real, bro. 1,000 bottles of baby oil, bro. This is crazy.
And it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well.
So I have that letter. We're actually gonna read that letter of showing why they want to give him that pre-trial detention and explain all the reasons why they think he has to stay in jail. It's like a 6-page thing, but I got it.
There is a presumption of detention in a case like this, and we think that's warranted.
John Anise, New York Daily News.
Thank you. I was hoping to get some more detail about the searches of his residence, the guns, the cases of lubricant, and the videos. Where were they found amongst his residence? Were they all scattered around the houses in one place. So I kind of wanted to just get a better picture of how that stuff was found.
Well, look, I think that some of the details that you're seeking are in the detention letter. So, for instance, some of the AR-15s, 2 of the 3 defaced AR-15s were found in his bedroom closet in Miami, broken down into parts along with magazines with ammunition loaded in them. So some of that detail is in the detention letter. Beyond that, I'm not going to be able to get into where other items were stored.
So he don't want to tell us where the lubricant was at, but it probably was in a nice safe inside of the wall with all the other creepy shit. Or he had a little secret compartment in the crib somewhere, like a little trap door type of situation, where you ever seen like one of them 50 Shades of Grey type movies when they go into the basement and they got the little dungeon. Puff probably had a sex dungeon, bro. He probably had a little dungeon with all type of paddles, whips, all type of freak off equipment, the freak off mask, the freak off attire, you know, the camera system, you know, because during the first raid they found all the hard drives and shit. So, you know, he had the little dungeon room that was off to the side. So people probably walked in there blindfolded off the ecstasy and all that. Next thing you know, you in the dungeon room, it's black, you know, candles everywhere, all type of weird shit. And you just slipping and sliding like you at Water Safari because it's just lube all over the floor. They probably didn't even have no bottles. They probably just had the lube on the floor all over the place and you just start rolling in it. I don't even think it was that coordinated where you take the lube out the bottle. If I had to guess, they probably just in there, you know, swimming around, rubbing their back against the wall and on each other. You know what I'm saying? So I could even think like they probably had a line. Put the lube. Everybody got to, you know what I'm saying? It's like when you at the pool, you got to wipe the chlorine off before you go home. Everybody smear the lube in on themselves before they go into the freak off dungeon. Yeah, it has some of the pictures of the guns. I guess this is what they use to essentially say why they should not let him out of jail. Southern District of New York, United States versus Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love. Oh, wow. The defendant, Sean Combs, aka all his AKAs, was taken into custody this morning after a grand jury sitting in this district returned a 3-count indictment charging him with crimes related to his decades. This shit says decades-long pattern of physical and sexual violence against multiple victims. You got to remember, just last week, that dude, he defaulted on a $100 million lawsuit, and that dude who's in jail walked away scot-free with that $100 million inside of jail. As reflected by the gravity of the charges in the indictment, the defendant is dangerous and possesses an ongoing threat to the safety of the community. They say he can't even be in the streets. He's a threat to society. He's a threat to democracy. Wow, if released, he remains a serious risk of flight despite the conditions offered by his counsel. Where y'all think Puff would go if he really got out? Like, where do you think he would go? What island or what country would he slide to? The defendant has attempted to bribe security staff and threatened and interfered with witnesses to his criminal conduct. He already has tried to obstruct the government's investigation of this case, repeatedly contacting victims and witnesses and feeding them false. Okay, this is what they said in the thing. Racketeering conspiracy from in about 2008. In 2008 through on or about the date of the indictment in violation. Count 1, sex trafficking from in or about 2009 through in or about 2018. In violation, and 2 count in interstate transportation to engage in prostitution. Damn, as charged in the indictment, many of those crimes involve the sexual abuse and exploitation of women. Damn. Freak-offs were elaborate sex performances that the defendant arranged, directed, and masturbating during. What the and often electronically recorded. Freak-offs occurred regularly from at least in around 2009 through 2024. Sometimes lasted multiple days and frequently involved multiple sex workers. Hold on, so they said he drugged them. For instance, the defendant provided controlled substances including ketamine, ecstasy, and gamma hydroburate, GHB, I've never heard that before, to female victims so that they could and would continue to engage in freak-offs despite fatigue, physical and emotional exhaustion, and pain. God damn, hold up. Additionally, during the freak-offs and separate from the freak-offs, the defendant subject subjected females victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse, in part to cause them to engage in the freak offs. Does anybody have record of him calling this shit a freak off? Because I thought that was like just a name that, like, you know, culture started to like run with. I didn't know that he was actually calling these a freak off. Kidnapping, arson, physical violence, throwing objects at people, throwing people to the ground, hitting, dragging, choking, and shoving others. Numerous witnesses, including the defendant's employees and others, observed or experienced violence from the defendant firsthand, sustaining lasting trauma as a result. Wow. Oh, I think he's talking about Kid Cudi right here. Because you know how Kid Cudi was trying to say Puff set his car on fire. He said approximately 2 weeks later, the defendant's co-conspirators set fire to individual one's vehicle by slicing open the car convertible top and dropping a Molotov cocktail inside the interior. What is this, GTA? A Molotov cocktail? That's the shit when you, the glass bottle, and you put the little cloth inside and set it on fire and throw the shit? What is this, Vice City? Hold up. Hold up. Look at all these different court cases. Joy Dickerson, Neal versus Combs. Lisa Gardner versus Combs. Oh, Doe versus Combs. Crystal McKinney versus Combs. Dawn Richards versus Combs. God damn, how many people had to come out before everybody was like, yo, this is not, this is bad. Look at all these different motions filed. Look at all these different cases. Look at all these shits. That's crazy. This is more about the guns. There's a little bit a look inside the guns. Just, you can't see it. Let me see if I can zoom in. But you see the serial number scratched off right there. Somebody caught a body with that shit. I'm not gonna front. Like, when you would have got that much bread and you could just go get rifles, why are you scratching serial numbers off of them? Like, that's just making the situation a lot worse for you. Wow. Removing a firearm serial number. A conviction for any of this misconduct may result in a large fine and a maximum term of imprisonment of 10 years. So you can get 10 years alone just from scratching a serial number off the gun. So when y'all run around scratching serial numbers off your guns, just know you're going to get the gun charge, and then you're going to get charged 10 years for scratching a serial number off alone. 10-round mag with 10 rounds of large caliber .223 ammunition. 30-round mag with 19 rounds of .223 ammunition. Holy shit. Wow. A large capacity drum magazine with 59 rounds of .223 ammunition. In the LA crib. So they have other guns. They had 6 legal guns. That's what I'm saying. Like, why do you have the legal guns? You got that one basically a damn ghost gun. You know what I'm saying? You scratch the serial number for that, but you got, that's what I'm like, yo, he has too much bread to not have no legal guns. That don't make no sense. So I'm really curious as to why they scratch a serial number off that rifle specifically. Damn, that shit's crazy, bro. So it looks like they don't want to give him bail. 50 victims and witnesses they said that they spoke to, had an interview with. The government has conducted interviews with over 50 victims and witnesses, many of whom saw or experiences the defendant's abuse. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. For all the reasons set forth, there is no bail package that can reasonably assure the safety of others in this case. So I guess what they're trying to say is, based on all of this other stuff, they don't want to give him no bail because they're going to use a narrative that he's going to harm these other people if he gets out, to probably, you know, suppress their voices or get rid of evidence. So they're trying to use that as a probable reason to not give him no bail. So defense counsel has proposed certain bail conditions, including home detention with electronic monitoring and a $50 million bond secured by the defendant's Miami property. So I guess like that's collateral. The court must reject the insufficient condition proposed by the defense counsel, which do nothing to prevent and detect such conduct. Let's just go through the indictment. Fuck it. Holy, gotta take a breather. This is a lot of, I feel like, you ever like just get grossed out watching something? Like, now I just can't stop thinking about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil when I'm thinking about this. This is crazy. All right, so this is a lot of stuff we know. They're talking about how he sex trafficked, he used women for his own advantage. So they're talking about he used Bad Boy Entertainment as like a headquarters for all these different operations and all his different companies to create these enterprises. Talking about his abuse towards women, orchestrated sexual activities with male commercial workers. Hold up. As a part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male sex workers. So he was hiring male sex workers too. So it wasn't enough after. I mean, I look at it like this. I heard somebody say, well, it was like, yo, after doing shit like this for so long, you just have to find new ways to excite yourself. Having orgies, threesomes for 2 decades. I mean, what he say? He got his first million at 19. You know what I'm saying? So like, I believe Big died in 98, and I'm mid 20s. They've been on top of the world for damn near 3 decades coming up. You feel me? So it's like, you got to think about it. How long he's been doing shit to the point where he probably can't even get stimulated from just regular intercourse. You got to start bringing people on jets and finding people, all these weird fetishes that he probably just started to develop and almost couldn't even control himself. But then you got people like Young Miami who are acting like this is such an extravagant lifestyle, but you're a part of this enterprise. You're the sex worker, but trying to glorify it as you're some trophy side chick. Yo, if your girl was at a Diddy party, now you know she was slipping and sliding in 1,000 pounds of baby oil. Now Young Miami wants to go up there and cry? Wow, I don't even know what to say. So they were threatening and luring female victims to Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. So now you have people doing what Epstein and the lady Maxwell, what they claim she was doing was that they claim she was recruiting the young girls for Epstein and acting like, you know, he's going to be nice to you, you're going to be this, you're going to be a model, whatever the case may be. But really, you're getting bought in to do some strange things on an island. So when you tell these young girls who are 17, 18, even 21, yo, you want to go to a Diddy party, he's going to put you on a jet. Just because she got a BBL don't mean she's smart as hell. Like, so these girls are young and they're getting told like, yo, I'm going to get on a jet, unlimited champagne, unlimited, what's Diddy's liquor brand called? You got Ciroc, you got the De Leon, PJ's, mansions, but then you get there and you're getting drugged. You're slipping and sliding in baby oil. You got to have sex with male sex workers while Diddy sits in the corner somewhere and watches. And then they're not even giving you stuff like regular drugs. Like they're giving you ketamine, which is a horse tranquilizer. So when you think about that, it's like, yo, bro, this is not your average everyday party. People are on horse tranquilizer. That's what ketamine is. It's a horse tranquilizer. It's a tranquilizer. So look, often under the pretense of romantic relationships, Combs then used force, threats of force, or coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male sex workers that Combs referred to as other things, freak-offs. Freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances he arranged and directed. So this is all coordinated. You're bringing people in, acting as if you're going to have a relationship. They show up to the party only to realize this is like a porno that you're directing. And there's a bunch of male prostitutes here. But I thought we was coming here to sip De Leon with Puff. Maybe see King Combs. You feel me? Maybe see Justin. But we come in here and we sliding in baby oil. What's going on? Wow. So he was transporting them across state lines, locally and internationally. So where are you getting the international girls from? So here it is again in the indictment. Florida and Los Angeles, California law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies. Why do they keep calling it freak-off supplies? Why do they keep calling it freak-off supplies? Including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Why are they doing that, man, like that? Why are they doing that, man, like that? Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support and other coercive means, including trafficking their whereabouts. Hold up. Dictating the victim's appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, and supplying them with controlled substances. Like, this is the same stuff R. Kelly was doing. This is the same stuff, bro. This is no different. This is the same stuff R. Kelly was doing. But since he made great music, nobody cared. He was going up to the middle schools, talking to the little girls, recruiting, controlling everybody's life. If you watch the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, he wouldn't even let the parents talk to the little girls. This is the same thing. This is mass manipulation. This is why when you got these young girls who want to sleep with these old men, check that. Check that shit. The shit is weird. There's no reason for it. There's no reason. These grown men who are 40-something years old, and you got girls like Young Mike, yo, get you an older dude. Now you got all of these little 20-year-old girls trying to sleep with dudes that's in their 50s because you got people like Young Miami who are getting prostituted and they're trying to make it seem cool. And then you want to come out and cry. How? How you want to come out and cry when you was telling young girls, get you an older nigga? Get you an older nigga. When you was a glorified sex trafficking puppet. But you want to tell the young girls to get them an older man? This is the problem I have with today's society. When all these girls influencing young girls, telling them what to do, they go do it, mess around with old men. Now they can never get that time back. They can never get that guilt back just to go come out and cry about it. But not tell these young girls, I'm sorry, I lied to you. I should have never told you to do this. I should have never told you to go sleep with old billionaire men while you're in your 20s and be a prostitute. I should have never told you to do that just to sip some De Leon on a fucking jet. I should have never told y'all that because I knew it wasn't right. I knew it wasn't right when I was sitting here in the freak offs watching him in the corner watch me when I got a little baby sleep with commercial sex workers, men, male prostitutes. So he's threatening their careers if they didn't want to participate in the freak offs. So what you think happened to Young Miami? You want the Carisha show? You want that Carisha show, huh? It's funny how that Carisha show was bigger than her whole rap career for a second. You want this show? You want the #1 podcast? Oh, okay. You better show up to the freak off, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, Miami. Bring your friends too. Recruit. Because you got to think about it like this, right? When Young Miami was running around telling y'all females, get you an older dude, that was a virtue signal. That was a recruiting tactic. That was to funnel more people in. Who is better bait to use than somebody like Young Miami? She's glorifying it, so there's more people for the freaks to recruit to the freak offs. Don't y'all notice that now it's all falling down? Young Miami is shh. But was it just last year? She was bragging about being my man. Wasn't that just her? But now she's quiet. All of you young girls who listen to people like her should be ashamed of yourself. Should be ashamed of yourself. And I can't blame you because it happens. We all get tricked. But the point is, we got to stop celebrating this shit because that was just dead wrong. Knowing what they was doing in these freak offs, and she recruiting y'all, telling y'all got to get with an older man. Bragging about it. Yo, my life is great. My life is good. Now you want to come out and cry. When shit really get real? Okay. What about your fans though? What about the little girls right now who want to be a city girl that's looking for a 50-year-old man now? But only you get to cry about it, right? Okay. They don't want to see that's why I kept telling people they will do this to you so you have no chance of coming back from this at all. There's just no shot in the world that you're coming back from this, bro. Like they will wait to get a case because you got to think about how big of a music mogul Puff is. There's so many factors in this that instead of just locking you up for something petty, we have the chance to take down an entire organization, maybe get some clues to shit that's happening across the border way with the sex trafficking industry. Maybe we can get some insight to who's a powerful player over there in different countries. When the feds get involved, bro, they're going to take their time. They don't. That's why when they always say, when the feds come, you're fucked. Because when they come, they got their shit. They got what they need. Motherfuckers don't miss. And I'm more upset at Young Miami because everybody knew this already. Like, there's been speculation. Everybody in the industry has been saying it for years. Everybody's been saying it. Yeah, I know it. But I'm more upset about the people who partaked in this and glorified it, knowing damn well this was hell. A plane owned by Combs is in Los Angeles. He's in the process of selling it. Federal prosecutors, so they're trying to get him some bail. They're trying to get him out. Yeah, they put this document everywhere. Yeah, that's I don't even know what to say, bro. Generally disgusted, generally disappointed. Now that I can read this, there's 1,000 bottles of baby oil shit, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna release all the footage eventually. The goal is to embarrass him. Clearly, right? They keep dropping the word freak off every 5 seconds. The goal is clearly to embarrass him. So I'm pretty sure that footage will be next, and I will be here to cover it. I'm out.